All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Hey, good evening, good day, likely good morning when you see this. Pelicans Daily presented by Fan Arch. I'm your host, Dylan Bruton. Make sure to like, to share, to subscribe. When you're chilling with Dill, you already know the drill. Come on now. Support is for free. Appreciate y'all for all the support. Appreciate it. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling. Let's get right to it. All right. Look, nothing more in life than that I enjoy sometimes than being right. Oh man, it's whoo, what a great feeling. What a great feeling. I love it. I love it. Well, my guy Chris Lambert has finally came around to seeing the vision. I mean, I'll just, I'll be, what do the kids say? Joshing? Yeah, I don't say that. I say shooting the, you know what, or pissing the breeze, whatever like that. But you know, Chris, my guy Chris, he knows ball. You know what I'm saying? He's a beast with the pen. He be putting out articles like it's nothing. So I always gotta show love to his work because he knows what he's talking about. But I do remember initially around draft time, he was a little bit on the fence of, I don't really know, and a little bit like, nah, I don't see the vision here. But, um, you know, President Dumars has set us up in a win-win situation, right? We are in such a good position. I don't think people realize. Yes, I will say there are. I'm gonna get to the only couple concerns, right? But number one, right? Everybody was on our neck and head about the draft and the fact that we traded up to get Derek Queen. But here's what I'm gonna say about this 2026 class that's upcoming. Super talented, right? Low key has a chance of having maybe more like quote unquote generational guys, like guys that have face the league potential. AJ DeBansa, Cam Boozer, Darren Peterson, Michael Brown, Elijah Arenas when he comes back. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some very transcendent level talent. But the thing with that draft is that overall, yes, it's incredibly talented. Oh, Kareem Lopez was a guy. Isaiah Evans. I had to just pull up the list real quick because I'm like, I know there's a couple guys. Caleb Wilson. All these guys I'm naming have tremendous, crazy ceilings, right? But where is the guarantee that we are going to get them? Have you seen our roster? Have you seen the caliber of talent that we already field and what we're capable of when we're healthy? Where is this idea that we're going to suck and be bad coming from? Other than these pundits that, all due respect, don't know what the hell they're talking about. And like I say all the time, if you can't go to your local YMCA and make a left-handed layup, please do not talk ball. Please. I'm not saying you got to play pro, but if you can't yourself mimic or do any of this stuff, how are you going to sit and tell me about ball? Or anybody else who's ever played a lick of the sport in their life, who's ever shed blood, sweat, and tears. What can you tell me? It's as crazy as me because I took a class on political science. I gotta add it. I took a class on this is me kind of flexing my GPA. I took a class in sociology. I took a class in psychology. I took a class in philosophy. I took classes in all these things. But do you see me going to these particular professionals and acting like I know more than them? Or even know as much? No. Cause that's just ridiculous. That's not my field. That's not my lane. That's not what I truly excelled at. So this notion and idea that we made a dumb decision by trading the first round pick. Was it a little crazy? Yes. I'm not denying that. It was a little crazy. I was a little bit perturbed when I saw the news, but I trusted the vision. Why? Because I trust the people who actually do this for a living. I trust the people who have a proven track record of success. How many of y'all have a championship under your belt as a player? How many of y'all have a championship under your belt as an exec? Probably none of y'all. So, and if you do, salute and thank you for watching my videos. Appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I only speak the real. But this notion that we're gonna be this terrible bad team and we're gonna end up getting one of those guys that I named, it's kind of unrealistic. It's very much fantasy. Have you seen the caliber of talent that we have on our team? You mean to tell me that that can't do something in a regular season, the playoffs? Get out of here. Get out of here. So, look, I understand, right? Again, it was crazy to trade a first round pick. Normally, you don't do stuff like that. But then also, the player that we got, Derek Queen. He's a special talent. He was one of the best players in the country. He was a 5-star recruit, McDonald's All-American, who lived up to the hype. He brought Maryland back to promise. He took Maryland on his, okay, it wasn't solely him. Shout out to my guy, Julian Reese, doing his thing. But he was the biggest catalyst and reason why. So this notion that we just went and traded up for Joe Schmo, what are we watching? What are we watching here? This is not the same ball that I'm watching. This can't be. And the comparison I'm gonna make is that this 2026 class is like the 2003 class, or like the 84 class. Super top heavy, right? You got your legends, you got your people that are like these names that if you don't know them, don't talk ball, right? But you know what is the greatest draft class to me? And I don't care what no one says, but I will argue down from talent and to overall like bulk, the 96 class. And that's how I feel about this 2025 class. I think this is one of the best draft classes that we have seen in the last few years, and it's going to be one of the best in history. Stamp on that. I stand on business with that statement. You can quote me, fax me, get at me, whatever. I stand on that. Because this class has so much depth from all the way to pick 1 to pick 32. And then the second round, right? This was a very talented crop of young guys that came into the league. So, no, I trust in President Dumars, right? Then the other thing that my guy Chris Lambert was talking about this article, so in addition to the fact that that the draft itself, you know what I'm saying, the pick, there was no guarantee we were going to get a top pick. There was none. We were going to have to like trade and do a whole lot of stuff to move up, right? If we could, I'm going to say this real quick before I get on to my next point. If we couldn't get a top 5 pick with a losing record, given and granted all the injuries we faced, what are we supposed to do when we actually have a healthy roster and we have more pieces in place? We're supposed to just tank and just suck just cuz? No. No, who does that? The fans are tired. The fans want to see greatness. They want to see us at our best. And that's not what we can't do that if we're mired in mediocrity. We cannot. Anyway, so the other point of why we're in a win-win is because, I hate to say it, but we're kind of underpaying everybody. Financially, we're doing all right. Now, granted, yes, I am very well aware that we are a bit over the salary cap, right? And then taking on Jordan Poole's contract didn't necessarily help that. But everyone else's deals, from Herb to Trey Murphy to DeJounte Murray to Zion even, right, are very well like lower than what their actual market value is. And I want to see these brothers get paid. Don't get it twisted. I'm not over here saying we should penny pinch, but we are in a rare position where we don't have a lot of financial collateral to worry about. We're in a good spot where we've got a great mix of young talent and we've got assets, so that when it's all put together, we've got a nice, well-oiled machine if everything goes as planned. So that's just my mindset. That's just my thought process. Y'all can think whatever, but the real know what's up. The real know what's up. Anyway. On to a player who, you constantly hear me give a lot of props and praise to, but my guy, Trey Murphy III. Now, another article by my guy, Chris Lambert, talking about, what is it going to be that causes Trey Murphy to take that next leap? And I agree with this wholeheartedly, 100%, because I was also saying this. But playmaking. Last year, Trey Murphy upped his averages to 21 a game, 5 boards, and 3.5 assists. These are great numbers. Absolutely great numbers. Efficient from the field, efficient from 3, free throw, showed improvement as a shot creator, showed improvement as a floor spacer, can still go up and, you know what I'm saying? Do everything that you need to do from a two-way small forward. And he especially stepped up when Brandon Ingram went down and got hurt. So I'm very proud. I'm very happy with the growth. But I do agree with Chris Lambert, the playmaking. Because we know Trey Murphy's a bucket. I can see him putting up 24, 25 a game this year. Barring injuries and just, once things are figured out of who's gonna be where, who's gonna do who performs what role in this team. I think Trey Murphy has the chance to be an all-star this year, and especially if he ups his assists to like 5 a game. And just think about how many opportunities for others that it's going to create. How more dangerous he is. One thing about Bi that does not get mentioned, and I'm glad Chris brought it up because I'm like, yo, as a Bi fan myself, I mean, look, you see what I'm rocking today. Shout out to those Blue Devils. Shout out to Duke. What doesn't get a lot of credit for Bi, or what Bi doesn't get a lot of credit for, is his passing. He's actually a very talented passer. He averaged five assists a game last year. It's probably the most underrated aspect of his game. Everyone knows him as a bucket getter, a smooth scorer, but that brother can pass the ball too. You know what I'm saying? He's able to make good reads. He's able to draw a defense in and find the open man, and he's an unselfish player. So, excuse me. If that type of influence as a player can rub off on Trey Murphy, and I do feel like there had to have been some influence from Bi that rubbed off on Trey because he just showed way more aggression, but also way more calculated smoothness than we had seen the previous year. And he had, he's shown steps and strides and improvement since he's been drafted. But if that's something that Trey Murphy fully adds to his bag, watch out. Okay? Watch out. We're talking about a top 5 small forward. Chris said a top 6. I'm going to be even nicer. Put him at the top 5 spot. Easy. Because there's not one thing he can't do. You can't play him one-on-one. He's going to get past you. You can't leave him open. He's going to drain threes on you. On the opposing side, you can't, move weakly on the offensive end. He's going to lock you up. Like, everything else, Trey's got to his bag. He's got it. He's over here. Which one of y'all getting locked up by Trigger? You know what I'm saying? He on his trade day for real. The ceiling and the sky is the limit for this young man. Obviously Zion has the highest ceiling, but right after to me is Trey. Like, if I was to rank ceilings, I'd go Zion, I'd go Trey. Then I would go, I'd go either Jeremiah Fears or Derek Queen. You could flip a coin on that one. But I mean, we just got so much young talent, and Trey Murphy is a big reason why that I'm very optimistic about this year. And y'all should be too. He's got everything you need to be a star. He's got a lot more personality too. I'm glad that he's been a little bit more like vocal. He's a pretty funny guy. So it's like, stay tuned. But there's a lot to look forward to this year. There is a lot. This whole doom and gloom that I'll be seeing some of these Pelicans channels do, I'm not gonna lie. I don't respect it. I hate to be that guy, but I don't. What it's like the dude that like fishes for compliments around women. Like, I'm so ugly. Oh, I'm so hideous. Hoping that one of them is going to be like, oh no, you're handsome, you look good. That's not how it works. That's not how any of it works. I feel like Avon. What part of the game is? That's not how the game goes. When he was yelling at Prop Joe during the basketball game between the two towers. Like, no, that's not how none of this works, man. Like, and who would even want to be around? Like, I'm not a woman. But what woman wants to be around low self-esteem having man? Just like who wants to be around a bunch of Debbie Downer, low self-esteem fans? I understand. There are things to be frustrated about. Yes, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying have your head in the clouds, be delusional, be green. No, but this is not the same Pelicans team of yesteryear. This is a different culture. This is a different team. We've got a lot of pieces. We got a lot more pieces in depth than most of these rosters out here. I'm like, what are y'all not seeing? What are y'all not seeing? To the detractors, the naysayers. I'm not to y'all who 10 toes and locked in. We here. But some of y'all, I gotta be real. Who wants to be around all that loser energy? I don't, and no, I don't know anybody else that does. You want to know the difference between the franchises who win and the franchises that don't is that they buy into the mentality. They say every year, we got a fighting chance. I'm not saying be like the Dallas Cowboys. Now, that is a shot against the Cowboys. Sorry, just had to do it. Da-da-da-da. But I'm not saying be delusional. Oh, it's our year. We're going to the Super Bowl. Like, no. But man, stop looking for fault in everything. Look at the positives. Look at the bright side. We got dogs on our team. The only thing is they just got to stay healthy. That's it. Now, God forbid it's not that, and we have another season like this, then yes, be on my head and all that. But pause. But like, that's not the case. I don't believe that's going to be the case. We've got too much depth now where next man up, we're still rolling. We're still good. We still doing our thing. So, hey, I just got to speak my piece. I just got to speak my mind. But I'm just getting sick and tired of seeing these different Pelicans channels that pop up on my feed. And it's just loser talk. Back and forth. Oh, we're not going to do anything. We should just pull the plug. Where? Go watch quilting. Go watch something, man. Go watch Gossip Girl. I don't know. Do something but watch basketball. Please. Grown folks is talking. Take your ass to the kitchen or something. I don't know. Go outside and play with the babes and the kids. You know, like, what are y'all talking about, man? Some of y'all just disgust me. All right, sorry. I just had to say it. I've just been getting so sick and tired of seeing it on my feed every damn day. I'm like, is anything good going on in y'all lives? Anything? It can't be all doom and gloom. There's kids getting their heads blown off overseas, and there's kids who don't have food and water, nothing. Like, some of y'all are just so unbelievably ungrateful and miserable. Who the hell wants to be around that? I don't. All right. Well, speaking about people who don't want to be around their present situation, that's a perfect segue. My guy Trae Young, Ice Trae the gang. Shout out to Amigos. ATL, well, Oklahoma's own, but the pride and joy of Atlanta, my guy Trae Young. There was rumor that with that trade that we made, that there was potential talk about Trae. That's his name is floated around. His name was floated around, and his name has floated around us for some time, right? The combination of Zion and Trae has tantalized a lot of people, including myself. I mean, oh my gosh. Ooh, they'd go insane. Can you just imagine the inside-out game of those two? So in a recent report, and also shout out to Chris Lambert again for this article, but Jake Fisher said that there's no intention for Trae Young to sign his extension ahead of next season with the Hawks. And Trae and his camp are very adamant about him playing out the rest of the year and leaving that $48.9 million. Oh my God. Could you imagine what I'd do at $48.9 million? Please. God. All right. Player option decision for next summer. And what's gonna happen with my guy Trae Young? Does he stay? Does he go? I've been asked. A lot of us have been asking that question for a while. It's been 4 seasons since they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and some people say that was a bit of an aberration. That was because of some things that played into their favor, all that. Now, I will say, though, they got our guy, Bryson Graham, who has been doing a damn good job over there. Hats off to him. I don't like giving Atlanta sports too much credit. They don't they get a compliment, they don't know how to take it. They start talking crazy like they've been perennial winners the whole time. And it's like, hold on now. Just like when I would hear folks in Atlanta be championing UGA, I'm like, Athens is 2 hours away from Atlanta. You better go champion Georgia Tech. You better cheer on you better cheer on Tech over here. Yeah, go Bulldogs. Yeah, woo woo, Georgia. Woo woo. ATL. No, that's not ATL. Ain't no ATL. But with Trae Young, I mean, now I don't agree with the trade package that Chris suggested. He suggested Eve, Jeremiah, Jordan Poole, and Jordan Hawkins. And I mean, yes, that is a hard deal to pass up on if you are the Hawks. But I don't think they're gonna get that brazen. I don't think we get that brazen and bold, and I also don't think they get that brazen and bold. I don't. But it's a fun scenario to think about. If because I mean, look, we already got DeJounte here, and I'm someone who saw them play a lot together, right? I lived in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? I was there to watch them play together a lot, and that duo did never got to fully blossom the way they could have because of the team around them. It's unfortunate because it should on paper it should have worked. It should have, but it just because of the team around, because of the supporting cast. But this is a way better supporting cast. This is again why I say I'm not with this whole loser mentality and mindset and Debbie Downerness and all that. Like nobody wants to be around you miserable Mandy's or your sad Sandys. I don't know. I'm just throwing things at the wall, hoping it sticks. But with Trae Young, we know what his caliber of talent is. He led the league in assists last year. He's one of the best 3-point shooters in the game. He's one of the best pure point guards. And yes, he is a massive defensive liability, but we've got the defenders on the wing that could step in, could do what they need to do in order to keep things afloat, to keep the ship running. But yeah, it's something to ponder and consider. I didn't know that Trae Young was Chris Lambert's favorite player. I'm gonna definitely talk with him about that because I've not like gotten to talk to Trae, but I've been in the same spots as him, and I'm like, man, this dude is my height. They're a little generous. They're a little generous with his height. I'm 6 foot. Yeah, I'm 6 foot. Maybe a strong 5'11". I don't know. With bad posture wise 5'11", but good posture 6 foot even. But I'm like they're a little nice. They used to have my boy at like 6'2", 6'3", and I'm like, I don't know about all that. But that brother can ball. Hey, it don't matter that he could be 5'3", and as long as he could play like that, he would be in the league. He's a special player. But there's been questions about can he be the number one? Can he be a guy who's a ceiling raiser? That's been the question. So I wouldn't be opposed, but I don't want to give up a lot to get Trae Young, nor do I want to give up the players mentioned. I don't. Now, if we can work something else out, cool. But then it becomes a matter of too many chefs, not enough cooks. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, just swinging for the fences is not gonna do it. I know I referenced that Beanie Siegel line where he says, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you're still amongst those stars. But sometimes you don't. Sometimes you lose the battle and you win the war. We got young talent at the guard spot. It should be imperative that we see them develop before we start really, okay, all right, maybe let's go get this guy. We don't know. But it was just a little fun thing, a little talking point, little something interesting to consider. But let's get right to my favorite part. Responding to y'all. So it's not a crazy amount of comments, which works in my favor because I'm trying to chop. But anyway, my guy Christopher Church 2653. Over for me is Looney right now before training camp. Under is Jose. TJ McConnell, wish he could be Jose. Jose lead a nation. Put respect on his name, yo. I think, it's like the overrated, underrated. Yeah. No, I feel like Kevon Looney is going to be solely out there as a big body, a veteran leader, a screener, a rebounder, defender. Like, we're not expecting a lot out of Kevon Looney. So I don't even know how he'd even be rated or ranked, but he's going to provide value in that role, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like that's a good role to be in. Underrated wise, Jose, yeah, Jose definitely is underrated in aspects, and TJ McConnell wish he could be Jose. I don't know, man. TJ McConnell just was in the NBA Finals, so I don't know. All respect to both of them though. They're holding it down for the undersized guards out there. They're holding it down for the guys that, you know what I'm saying, that I could play against in the gym. Now I'm not saying that I'd hold my own. No, they would cook me both. But I'm just saying like I would have to guard them because we're all in the same height range. Yeah. So the original Don Guillory, my guy. It's a green light on all Clutch clients. Look, man, hey, Clutch Mafia, La Costa Nostra. If you know, you know. Shout out to Clutch though. They be doing their thing, but yeah, we all know there are some favorable narratives that are put out with certain clients and certain people involved. If you know what I'm saying. So that's all I'm gonna say. Ricky Pronia 2494. Good to see you again. Wish we could sign Josh Giddey. He always has a good game when he plays against us. Josh Giddey is a good player. You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm not gonna talk about his legal situation, nothing like that. He's a good player though, and he was a very instrumental part to the Bulls making a play in and all that. Even though they should have tanked, they should have just did it. But whatever. They were like, you know what? Let's compete. Let's keep our fans. Let's keep fans coming back to the stadium and such. But yeah, Josh Giddey's a good player. I think overall, like he would fit, but he'd have to come off the bench just because of some of his weaknesses and liabilities. But as a ball handler, as like a jumbo forward, you know, point forward, like he's great at that. Definitely great at that. So yeah. And then last, Pinot Blue Vogel 6458. I believe I've seen you on here before, but if not, nice to meet you. And this is a very pro BI comment, so I'm supporting. I have to say though, as much as BI's had injuries while on the Pelicans, his last two injuries were completely accidental. First, he stepped on someone's foot and seriously hurt his ankle, which was maybe survivable as a very young, flexible player. But his last injury, where he landed awkwardly on someone's foot after a full height jump shot, that would have injured every player in the NBA and beyond. That is not being injury prone. That is simply having bad luck and playing against reckless players that screw him over by doing so. As much as I love Zion, I've seen BI carry the team more and more and do more of this minutes, than Zion has. I wish we still had him, but I guess it wasn't supposed to be. Dang. You aren't wrong, though. BI has had just unfortunate luck with his injuries. It's just because he's already had a consistent injury history, the injury-prone tag is going to just be applied. It's just unfortunate how it goes. But I do agree with that. Like, you know, if you have a freak injury, that doesn't make you injury prone. There are things that you just cannot simply control. I mean, I tore one of my meniscuses. Fun story. Sad. I mean, I guess I can laugh about it now, but I wasn't laughing then. But it was right before a scrimmage. I slipped on water, like like in like animated shows when they slip on a banana peel and they're like, "Whoa!" I did that, and I like my leg, like I landed my leg like awkwardly, all that. I played a scrimmage. I used to have bounce. I was grabbing rim when I was in 6th grade. That's all I could do now. I can't do nothing more. But I like blocked a shot during the game or during the scrimmage, and I remember like landing. I heard like a, and at the time I was kind of prideful, and I ended up playing for 2 years on it, to the point where when I was going to get my physical for 8th grade tryouts, the doctor was like, "I don't even think I should be clearing you." And then when I couldn't even finish tryouts because of how like just malign my knee was, and they did the MRI, I had like 9 tears in my meniscus. And the doctor was like, "If you hadn't gotten taken care of this now, you would be 18 walking with a cane." And I cannot imagine my life right now walking with a cane. No. So yeah, so freak injuries happen, and it was like that with this right one too. I'm not gonna get into all that. I'll get into it another time. But the carrying part, ooh, getting a little spicy here. I will say this: Bi, because of his shooting ability, is a better closer than Zion. But I will say though, we've seen Zion get clutch. We've seen Zion step up when need be. But I hear you. Just because Bi has been a little bit more available than Zion, he might just just a touch of love, a little bit. Shout out to Keith Sweat, shout out to Slave. He just might eke him over, but not by a ton, but just a little bit. But then my guy Davion White, KKXJL, who I saw you on like one of my earlier videos. Good to see you though. LOL, bruh. Being below 500 and being the AC does not carry the team, bruh. And I swear y'all don't acknowledge the fact that CJ was the reason this team turned the season around that year. Ooh. Ooh, spicy. Spicy. Yeah, look, hey, the AC life is it's not a glamorous one, but it happens. It happens. But CJ does need to get more props for being a big reason why we stay competitively afloat. I agree on that. I agree on that. But I will say BI was more the number one. So it's like Pino wasn't totally wrong, but I see what Davion's saying too. So yeah. All right though. Yeah, that was about it though. Just a few comments, but I appreciate it. Like I said, I'm a video behind when it comes to responding on comments. So yeah. But anyway, y'all. Anyway, this video getting long, which I know is oxymoronic for me, but I'm trying to be more concise. But appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the love. There's a lot more to cover. A lot more to talk about. There's a lot to be excited for. That's mainly what I want y'all to just understand. There's a lot to be excited for. This is going to be a very fun season. There's so much to look forward to. I'm hoping I can go to some games, whether where I'm going to be moving to in Phoenix or go to New Orleans. I need to. And if I touch down in the city, y'all who are 504 residents, y'all better tap in with me. You got to, take me around town, take me to different spots. You know what I'm saying? Gotta hit Bourbon Street, all that jazz. Literally, I want to hear some jazz. I played saxophone in middle school. I love jazz. Big jazz fan. But shout out to those Pelicans. Shout out to y'all for the continuous support. We got a lot to look forward to this year. This is a year that we're going to really do some things. And, hey, sky's the limit, baby. Heads in the air, sky's the limit. Shout out to Jeezy. But there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot to be optimistic about. So stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for more content. See y'all. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your night, whatever. Because, don't know what time zone you're on. But, hey, you rocking with me, support me. That's all that matters. But have a good one and stay blessed. Ciao.